Paura, paura o paura, una della vostra lingua. Allegria, corazón, Deutsch, Herz, leuchten, ja. Was? Glitzer. Sternenstaub. Dankbarkeit. Komm, un po' di spagnoli, dai. Pace. Wunderbar. Ja, wunderbar. Ist das Leben gemischt, hä?
I'm really getting to know Maria now.
I know you're very organized, but I'm not.
Yeah?
I know.
Yeah, it's interesting what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very conventional. I'm really sorry. But you all are not. And so you have to change your conventional way. Because I'm conventional. I'm impulsive. I'm very heart-oriented. And we had yesterday a workshop here. And I would like Alina to guide us a tiny meditation, because I never have had guided a meditation like this in my life. And I would like you just to share what we were able to be guided yesterday in the deepest holding and hearing, really listening. And you know in what? In doing nothing. Nothing.
I would like to invite all of you to close your eyes the first time. Pay attention to your breathing. Pay attention to the sounds from the birds. Pay attention to what is happening in your body, in your sensations, right now, at this moment. And just for a few minutes, don't try to change anything of what is happening right now in your consciousness. Imagine that you tell yourself, it's okay to be exactly as I am at this moment. Imagine that you can receive yourself just for a few moments. You can say yes to you. Even if there is something going on in your body that you don't like, imagine that you say yes just for a few minutes. It's okay to be exactly as I am right now. My voxel said, to be heard and to be held is to be healed. Thank you and good morning to everyone.
What a privilege. Thank you. And thank you, Maria, for hosting us in this incredible venue.
Present moment?
Yeah.
I feel connected. I feel like there's so much beauty in nature around us. I feel like people have come together to explore and investigate a deeper part of themselves and actually to sing a collective song. And that's like, to me, it's actually almost borders, not just connection, but almost borders awe. That so many people from so many different parts of the world and also different kinds of minds, convening to awaken a deeper collective hum of the infinite. There you are. I'm feeling poetic. How about that? Hello. I'm so happy to be here. When I'm not jet lagged, I'm probably a little closer to Maria's personality than otherwise. Yeah. See, coffee will help. Thank you. It is a joy. So many times when I go to places, it feels like, there's different ways to look at the outside world. So many times we look outside and say, that's wonderful. And then sometimes I remember to say, what if actually I'm not looking outside, but I'm looking inside my mind? And it's kind of a very different experience of the present moment. And I feel grateful that if all living beings are thoughts, and if all thoughts are living beings, what a joy that we come together to explore deeper inquiries together. I feel connected even when I'm by myself. I spend a lot of time in isolation, in meditation, but I think it's not so much the physical isolation, but it's that when inside me I start to have agendas, I start to act with an outcome in mind, that's when I know that I'm losing connection with the flow of life. If I can just, act purely for the sake of acting, just joy for this very moment that you and I are together, that's it. Like if I'm in that mode, I think I'm connected. If I start scheming things, even if it is in the, seeming benefit of others, I think that's when I start the spiral to actually go downhill. Of course, there's so many fears that we all feel. I think my biggest fear would be to be isolated, to be disconnected, to feel like I don't belong in this field of life. And I know that's an inside job. So I have to create the inner conditions that don't put me in that state of being disconnected with the larger emergence and flow of life and of co-creation. But it's maybe not just an inside job too. It's an outside affects the inside affects the outside. So perhaps there's a deeper cycle there. But yeah, I hope to always stay connected. I think love will always triumph. But before it triumphs, we may have to go through some phases of transformation, which maybe, evokes some shadows, some darkness, some suffering. But I think ultimately love triumphs.
So a finite game is played for the purpose of winning, but an infinite game is played for the purpose of continuing the play, of continuing the dance of life. And I think if we are hitting that sweet spot between me, we, and the us, you start to really tap into a much bigger game. Now, I don't think this is binary, that, I'm playing a finite game, you're playing infinite game. I don't think it's like that. I think it's a spectrum. So wherever we are on that spectrum, can we take that one courageous step towards a more infinite game? What would that look like? I think that's an open invitation for us. And I'll end with this quote. He says, in the early part of my life, Gandhi said, I discovered that if I was to realize the truth, I must obey, even at the cost of my life, the law of love. And I can tell you more later if you're curious about what he described as the law of love. But in brief, when somebody said, where do I go to learn this law of love that you have shaken the world with? He says, he doesn't say, go to this monastery, this teacher, this author. He says, I learned the law of love from little children. Which is to say, it's accessible. It is not like some gift for those who are in the Himalayas, or it is not some gift for those who are privileged. We don't need to make it a luxury sport. This is accessible. It's here and now. So, again, I'll just use this one framing by Rachel Remen and I'll extend it. She says that she says something very interesting, particularly in the realm of helping other people, compassion. She says, when you help, you actually see life as weak. Because I'm good. You, poor soul, man. You're so uneducated, you're so poor, you're so this, you're so that. And I will help you. It says, when you help, you see life as weak. When you fix, I've got an education from UC Berkeley, man. You're in the slums. What do you know about architecture? Let me help you build a really nice house. When you fix, you see life as broken. When you serve, you see life as a co-creative whole. Which is very interesting, right? Like if you look at all the people trying to fix the world, help the world, all our evocations of compassion usually are helping, fixing, you know. Very little service. But I would extend that even further, and I would say there's another expression of service, which particularly in a country like India, is very present, and it's offering. Offering says, wow, you're actually giving me a chance to be of service. Thank you for the opportunity to give, that you are receiving my gift. Not like, oh, I have $100, I'm going to give to you. It's like, oh my God, with this $100, would you be kind enough to receive it? Because if you do, we will be related. And if we are related, it takes two to know one. And in that space, we will have context and we will translate our compassion into action in a profoundly different way. That is offering.
I am not 100% compassionate in 100% of the moments, but I don't think a saint, you know, there's a beautiful definition of like a saint, which we all aspire to be, right? Like very saintly. It's a beautiful definition. A saint is not somebody who never falls. A saint is just somebody who falls 99 times but gets up 100 times. And so I hope to be on that path to say, I'm not compassionate in all moments, but in those moments when I'm not, in those moments when I am, you know, fall to my egoic impulses, can I lift myself up to a higher impulse? And I think community is what helps us do that. I don't think ego's willpower is enough to lift us up, but I think noble friends can help you do that.
I think the core distinction is to move from transaction, which is rooted in accumulation, to relationships, which is rooted in circulation. So you look at these kids, they're all giving each other a back rub, right? Like it would be, you know, you could go to a therapist and say, here's my money, what are you doing back for me? Right? That's a transaction. This is circular. But then you say, well, but you know, I may give a great massage, but the person behind me is not giving me such a great massage, you know? It's uneven. What if we all gave each other haircuts, you know? That would be funny, right? But what you get in return for that kind of unevenness is that you get the circle. And when you get the circle, you get emergence. And when you get emergence, you're actually going to an entirely unique possibility, especially if it's rooted in compassion. So I think what starts to happen when you move from transaction to relationship, you really start to ignite a sense of flow. Because you're circulating. Relationships are, you're not accumulating. If you're accumulating, you're transactional. But if you're circulating, it starts to, over time, once enough stuff starts circulating more and more, and it's regenerative, right? If I circulate, you circulate, we all circulate, it starts to create a flow. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this thing called life. I'm grateful that we have the capacity to not just identify as a wave, but to identify as the ocean in which the waves arise and pass. And I think we're capable of that. And when I forget, I hope you remind me. And when you forget, I hope I have the opportunity to remind you. And I think together we can perhaps create a new story.
So, also ich fand jetzt so noch so eine Geschichte von der Bescheidenheit oder der Humbleness, dass zum Beispiel eben der Gandhi im Endeffekt immer, wenn sich jemand so verbeugt hat oder sich so eigentlich so im Dreck fühlte, dass der Gandhi immer wieder gesagt hat, ich bin noch mehr unter dir in dem Dreck. Also dieses totale sich nicht kleiner machen, sondern dass da eine ganz klare Nachricht war, dass keiner auch in was immer einer Position man ist, dass man nie irgendwie über jemanden steht, sondern eher sogar unter jemanden steht. Und dann hat er ja auch nochmal eben vom Dalai Lama so gesagt, dass der 3 Tage bei so einem Event war und er hat sich immer irgendwie tiefer und tiefer verbeugt und hat dann auf einmal gesehen, dass er immer in dem ganzen Zuhörerraum gesehen hat, wer sich ihm so tief verbeugt, und dann hat er sich noch tiefer als der verbeugt.
life is perfect the way it is, I'm actually not speaking to the camera, I'm speaking to you. And that's my experience. Who knows what happens with the camera? Who knows who watches it, where the ripple goes, But I know that in this moment, there's a life in front of me and there's life in me, and that is coming together. And in that co-creation, it takes two to know one, And so I think it's, I'm knowing myself beyond this is an opportunity to know myself beyond my own ego. And so, yeah, I rejoice in that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. You're rocking and rolling. Yeah.
This is going to create so many ripples. Like, it is not beyond your or my wills. It just does. I've been in so many circles, even where I haven't spoken anything. And you just know that when people's hearts come together around compassion, it just is supported. It's not market funded, it is nature funded. Like, we ignite. The reason why this pay it forward works is because when someone pays for you, no one's scheming and saying, give me some of your money. It works because it feels like you've eaten 20,000 chocolate bars, and that is not an approximation. That is what they say, what happens to you when you receive an act of kindness, and even when you give an act of kindness. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. This is why we love chocolate. So thank you to both of these guys especially. Please stand up and give them all. Come on, let's stand up.
Asking me and calling me, and I want to thank myself that I said yes.